exactly why you laugh. You laugh physically and mentally. Because in here, if I'm telling you a gag and you start to laugh, you are suffering from a form of anxiety. You're getting anxious. You know that? And the anxiety is converted to your vocal cords. And they begin to tighten up and tighten up and tighten up till they're at stretching point. And then I give you the tagline of the gag, and you're so relieved that your anxiety was unfounded that all these little things relax. And they all go... That's what actually causes the sound of laughter. Just thought you might like to know why the hell you're laughing. People ask me what I do for a hobby. I walk. I like walking about. And I was walking to the studio a couple of weeks ago, and I came across a fellow who was standing in the middle of the road, going rum 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 rum, rum 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 rum, rum 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 rum. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm trying to start my car." Rum 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 rum. Car? What car? Rum 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 rum. He said, "Would you do me a favor?" I said, "What?" He said, "Well, it's on a bit of a slope. Will you give me a push?" I said, "All right." And he sat down like that. And I'm at the back going like this. Let me go about 30 yards, and all of a sudden he goes, rum, 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 rum. "Thank you." There's a fellow leaning over the fence, and I said, "Did you see that? He thinks he's driving a car." And the fellow said, "You didn't tell him he wasn't, did you?" And I said, "No." "Why?" He said, "He gives me £3 a week to clean it." I knew an old man in Ireland, great drinker, a fellow called Malachi Horn. He was 98 years of age, and he used to go to the pub every night. He used to get into the donkey and cart, and the donkey and cart would take him to the pub, and he'd get into the pub, and he would get loaded. And he would climb out, get into the donkey and cart, and the donkey knew the way back so often, just took him home. The fellow would wake up, and he'd be outside his own house. And then one night, on the way home, the donkey stumbled. The little donkey fell on his knees, and the fellow woke up. And he says, "Get up! Get up, you dirty little donkey, get up! If you don't get up, I'll drive over you." Three gentlemen talking, three old, crusty gentlemen. And one says, I find getting old rather sad, because I used to love listening to music, going to the concerts and hearing Beethoven and Mozart and Haydn. And as I got older, my hearing has got worse and worse and worse. Terribly sad that I cannot hear the music. The other one said, I fully understand. My eyes are beginning to go. I used to love to go to the galleries and see Renoirs and Manet and Constables and study them, and now my sight is just so bad that I cannot see these paintings. And the other one said, yes, I know. As you know, I recently married a young girl who was 15 years my junior. And I wake up in the morning and I said, "Shall we make love?" And she said, "We just did." And my memory was... The Irish are supposed to be what we call a demonstrative nation, but the Italians are even worse. An Italian, his wife died. And all the way out to the funeral, to the graveyard, he's gone, I don't know, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? He stick the coffin and he goes, all the way back in the car, I don't know what I'm going to do. And his friend says, "Mario, you must have pulled yourself together. I know you loved her, but she is dead. You must live your life. In 6 months' time, you will meet another beautiful girl. And you will fall in love, and you will marry her." He said, 6 months? What am I going to do tonight? Now, sketch time. L'chaim. Look what you do. Me no longer live in cave. Me invent house. House? Fine house. Me also inventor. Huh? What you invent? Me invent fire. Fire? What fire? Me show you what fire. Me get sticks. Huh? Me get sticks. We put them in pile like that. Me no understand. Me show. Yeah. Me show grass. Then we get 2 sticks. Yeah, 2 sticks. And then we rub 2 sticks like that. You'll tell me everything? I've got nothing to tell you. I've got nothing to confess. Are you sure? Yes! Next! She got away. You know that nobody knows in this country how many laws we are governed by? They've lost count. We tried reference libraries, we tried governmental bodies, we tried the law society, and even they don't know. And they tell us that ignorance of the law is no excuse. We have laws which are made by what they call parliamentarians, but the law is always drafted by a lawyer. Clever people, those lawyers. Because what they do is they always draft the law and leave a few loopholes in it. So if you break the law, you hire them to defend you against the law that they've created. And actually one of the paradoxes of law is that if you go to sleep on a bench in Hyde Park, they give you a £2 fine. If you go to sleep on a bench in the Old Bailey, they pay you £18,000 a year. At one time in my life, I was what they call a freelance reporter, and I used to spend a great deal of time in the law courts of Dublin. Now, if you want logic, that's the strangest place in the world to go to. I heard a judge say, well, the fellow one morning, and he said, have you ever been up before me? And the fellow said, I don't know. What time do you get up? I heard counsel talk to a witness, and he said, who hit you in the eye? He said, that fella in the dock did. And believe it or not, I heard counsel say, were there any eyewitnesses? And the fellow says, he was there. He said, well, not him. Anybody else? He says, well, I was there. I saw counsel, a rather pompous counsel, being taken down by the honesty of a little fellow. And the counsel said, are you married? He says, yes, sir. So to whom are you married? He says, a woman. He said, really? You're actually swearing on the oath that you are married to a woman? He said, yes, sir. He said, incredible. Have you ever heard of anybody being married to a man? He says, yes, sir, my sister. Believe it or not, I actually heard a judge in a court in Ireland pass sentence upon a man. And he said, according to the law and the evidence that has been presented in this court, and there's been very little of it, I find you guilty. And I sentence you to 2 weeks imprisonment. And if you're guilty, consider yourself lucky, because it's a very light sentence. And if you're not guilty, let it be a lesson to you. Judge, one morning said, it would appear that there are only 11 members of the jury in the box this morning. One missing. And the fellow stood up and said, my lord, that's my friend. He got a bit bored with the proceedings over the last couple of weeks, and he's gone to the races, but he's going to come back tomorrow. And the judge said, how considerate of him. What if we finish the case today? He said, well, he's given me his verdict. There was a policeman in Dublin who actually was the bane of any barrister's life. And when he was ever about to appear as a witness, word would run around the law courts, and every barrister that was free, they would come and sit in the court and watch one of their own members being totally destroyed by the logic of this policeman. And I saw counsel when I talked to him, and he said, you're actually telling me that you witnessed the fight between the plaintiff and the defendant? He said, yes. He said, you actually saw them punch one another, kick one another, bite one another, and you stood by and did nothing. He said, that's right. He said, why didn't you go to the aid of the plaintiff? He said, well, at the time, I didn't know it was him. And I actually heard him, believe it or not, state in court, under oath, that he had the ability to see round corners. And the counsel said, now, you had this house under observation. He said, yes, I did. He said, from where were you standing? He said, I was standing around the corner. And the counsel said, you had the house under observation and you were standing around the corner? He said, yes. And the counsel said, are you telling me that you have the ability to see round corners? The counsel rose to it and said, really? My lord, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, members of the court, we are in the presence of a man who God Almighty has seen fit to bestow upon the gift of seeing around corners. We are but poor mortals among such a gigantic figure. Constable, would you be so kind as to demonstrate to us poor people in this court this amazing gift of seeing around corners? He said, yes, sir. He said, the house is there, I'm here on the corner, and I go. The law must at all times be impartial. Not only but be impartial, it must be seen to be impartial. And during a trial in a court in Dublin once, a member of the public stuck up from the back of the court and said, hang them! Hang that dirty black Protestant! And the judge said, bring that man down here. He was brought down. You understand that this is a court of law, that you have committed a gross contempt for this court and what it stands for. And it is within my power to fine you heavily or send you to prison or both. But I will give you a lesson on what law is about. Law is not a person's politics. It is not his color. It is not his religion. It is not for you to say to me, hang the dirty black Protestant. If anybody is going to hang the dirty black Protestant, I will hang the dirty black Protestant. It's all right for me to sit here and make jokes about the court of law, but in that hallowed building, one must never show any form of contempt for the law. One must remember that its traditions and its dignity must always be upheld. Proceed with your cross-examination, Miss Barrington.
Thank you, my lad. Now, you are both children's entertainers, are you not?
That's right, yeah.
Well, I'd like you to tell his lordship exactly what happened last Saturday week by the seaside.
Yeah, well, my wife went off, you see, leaving me to look after the baby. So I put the baby next to me like this, you see, and I was crooning to it, you know. I was saying, "Who's the lovely little baby then? Who's the ickly wickly lovely baby? Who's the coo then?"
Yes, and what did you say then?
I said,
He's beating the baby. He's beating the baby. What have you got there? You stole those sausages. What?
You can't behave like this. This is a court of law.
You have been found guilty of cruelty to babies, assaulting a policeman, wife-beating, and stealing a string of sausages. Now, before I sentence you, do you have anything to say?
A very strange way to behave. I think it's something we're all guilty of, actually, strange behavior. Have you ever looked at yourself in a motor car when you're driving? Terrible the way people behave. Actually, when you pull up and you happen to see a friend in a motor car, you always talk to them. But you never wind down the window. And you never actually speak. You mouth words. You could be saying anything to them. Big fat pig, huh? How's those monster children of yours? We'll come around, bloody murdered them the next time. She goes, she could be sitting there saying, I saw your show. Rubbish. Oh, code of behavior. People behave in the most extreme way. I would say practically every man here tonight, at some time in his life, has walked around with his flies open. Inadvertently. And I say inadvertently because there just by chance might be a couple of flashes here that I don't know. But if you do happen to be in that supposed embarrassing situation of having your flies open, people will never walk up to you and say, excuse me, sir, your fly is open. We're all male or female, father, mother, brothers, sisters, we all know what it's about, but they will never say, your fly is open. They'll tell you, but they won't tell you directly. And go, you have egg on your chin. It's nice out today. The bird has fallen from the nest. And the great one, as they say, is the gate is open, but the beast is asleep. My favorite, the English, with their behavior regarding dogs. Incredible. You walk into a pub full of fellas, they'll all be sitting there. Somebody walks in with a dog, they'll go, oh, hello, what a nice doggy you are. And what's your name? Wouldn't it frighten the crap out of them if somebody said, Bruce? English are incredible. The English are the only people in the world that will take a dog for a walk and carry it. Buy it little Wellington boots, raincoats, hats, rubber bones. They actually buy rubber bones for dogs. When the dog sits there and bites on it and goes, and his jaws fly out. One of my great joys in life, I used to go to, especially to Richmond Park, walk around Richmond Park, to see an Englishman with his best friend. And they're always strange names. They're always Simba, King, Prince, Rex. It's an extension of the fellow's ego. He's bald and he's going to fall into pieces. But the dog's a monster. see him walk with the dogs and all this game of throwing the sticks for them. Here, boy! Good boy, sit! Sit! Let go of the stick. I am going to throw the stick, and you're going to run off, and you're going to bring it back. You're going to be a clever boy. And I'm thinking, what's bloody clever about that? If the stick is here in the first place, why throw it away so he can bring it back? Here, boy! Right, let go of the stick. Let go. You go, that's it. Off you go, go. And the dog picks up the stick and comes back. And the master says, good boy, clever boy. And this goes on all afternoon. And after about 2 hours of running after the stick, the dog is knackered. He's not interested. He wants to go and smell trees and do what things dogs do. So off he goes. And there is the master saying, here, boy! Here, Bruce! Brucey! Bruce, come on, that's a good boy. Come to Daddy, Bruce! I actually heard a fella in Richmond Park say to his dog, if you don't come now, you'll walk home! Behavior. People think people who wear a uniform behave in a uniform manner. Many think that kind of uniformity creates conformity. But people who wear uniforms can behave just as strangely as anybody else. In some cases, even more so. Right, pay attention. This is your final lesson before you pass out as fully fledged constables of the law. Remember everything you've learned over the last 6 weeks. Right, off you go.
Hello. What's all this here, then? Certainly, sir. Down there, first on the right. Yes, madam, 3:30. Evening, all. I must ask you to accompany me to the station. Hello.
All right, then, we are gathered here today to see a demonstration of the new bulletproof vest. And to actually prove to you lower ranks that the bulletproof vest is perfectly safe, I myself am wearing it, and I'm about to demonstrate the safety. Would you hold my cap, please, Crowder? Thank you.
Certainly, sir.
Now,
Yep.
I just have to actually brace myself because the impact of the bullet upon my chest does slightly knock you over. But if you're braced for it, you're prepared. Are you ready, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Right, well, take aim and fire. God, Sergeant, you always were. Whew.
When I saw the accused, it was obvious from his manner that he was as drunk as a judge.
Presume you mean drunk as a lord.
Oh, yes, I do. Sorry, my lord.
What have we got here?
Bomb, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant. Take this down, please.
Sir.
The rim screw is connected to the flange bolt.
Rim screw is connected to the flange bolt.
The flange bolt is connected to the earth wire.
Flange bolt is connected to the earth wire.
The earth wire is connected to the nose cone.
The earth wire is connected to the nose cone.
The nose cone is connected to the slip cone.
The nose cone is connected to the flip cone.
And hear the word of the Lord.
Take it away, sir.
Dim bum, dim bum, dim. Walk around, dim bum, dim bum, dim. Walk around, dim bum, dim bum, dim.
And hear the word of the Lord.
During most of the shows in the series, I occasionally talk about religion. And I actually try to spread it right across the board. And the strangest thing about telling religious gags, if I tell a Catholic gag, I never get a complaint from a Protestant. If I tell a Protestant gag, I never get a complaint from a Catholic. If I tell a Jewish gag, I don't hear from Muslims. If I tell a Muslim gag, I don't hear from Jewish people. Likewise, if I tell an atheist gag, I don't hear from the other four. But I do hear from atheists, depending, of course, of what sort of atheists they are, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, or Muslim. I'm also asked why I tell gags about God, but never tell gags about the devil. Well, I'm working on the principle that if there's only the two of them, and I've made an enemy of one, there's no sense in screwing up the other one. But I do believe that God has got a sense of humor. If he hasn't, I'm in bloody trouble, I tell you that. Here's a thought for you, actually. If God has made all things, he's made the rivers, the mountains, the seas, and the trees, he's also made thought. He's also created knowledge. He's created wisdom. So therefore, he has made all the gags. So if you don't like a gag I tell, don't blame me. Blame him. His address is God, Esquire, care of Jimmy Carter, the White House, Washington. We live in an age in which we are becoming less and less dependent on God and more dependent on machines. Everything is becoming computerized. Computers are replacing people more and more. And perhaps the day is not very far off when even a priest will be replaced by a computer. This will be my job, taking confessions. Machines have taken them over now. You imagine, computers in the confessional books.
So you have a confession to make. Repeat, you have a confession to make.
Yes, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been over 3 months since I was last at confession, and I've been drinking very heavily.
Drinking heavily. 3 Hail Marys.
And I've been gambling.
Gambling. Recommended penance for gambling. 1 Confiteor. Anything else, my son?
No, Father.
Drinking heavily. 3 Hail Marys. Gambling. 1 Confiteor. Sum total 4 prayers. Affirmative. Repeat. 4 prayers. Next.
Talking tin can. Just a second.
Do you have a confession to make, my son?
No.
Reject. Programming fault. Replay.
Suspender belt.
Suspend belt.
Stuck in tops. Dr. Dizziac. Drinking. Hangover.
Stop. Up. Drinking 3 Hail.
Bosoms.
Drinking 3 Hail bosoms. Erase. Restart.
Plastic Max. Long red hair. And a whip.
Penance. 3 Hail Marys.
And a little lamb.
3 male Carries and a mastic black. 8 frequents.
Bigamy. Sodomy. Adultery. And a hard-boiled egg.
No sin confused.
Brazier.
Hard-boiled egg sewn in. Correct. Not no sin sewn in.
Knickers.
Nick. No.
I now pronounce you man and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Not now, Henry. I'm not in the mood.
And so I say unto you, make no mistake. The Lord will punish each and every sinner of this world, and on the day of judgment, he will smite them down and deliver them into the burning.
Thank you. No, don't ring us. We'll ring you. And finally, O Lord, please make it possible for me to be more helpful to my fellow man. Thank you. Dame Doris Dwight will be remembered as one of the greatest ballerinas of all time. And perhaps it is very fitting that she was taken from us while achieving a double arabesque split during a performance of Swan Lake. She will no doubt be sadly missed by us all.
Hello, Father.
Good morning, little girl. I'm collecting for the orphanage.
Just wait a minute. I'm ready, Father.
When we grow up in fear. I am a fear. I am frightened. I'm not frightened of the dark, or spooks, or ghosts, or spirits, or the evil, or the devil. I am frightened of wire hangers. Don't laugh. I am terrified of wire hangers. Because I do believe that wire hangers are taking over the world. I ring newspapers, I ring the government, and they say, "Is that bloody crank again about wire hangers?" You think about it. You think about wire hangers. In 30 years, wire hangers have had the greatest population explosion known to anything in the world. 40 years ago, there was no such thing as a wire hanger. Then there was one. Then there was two. Then there was three. Now there's billions of them. They're worse than Catholics. I tell you, you try it out. You try it out. You leave one wire hanger in a cupboard by itself and do not go near that cupboard for 3 days. And I guarantee you, when you open it again, there's two of them. It will come to a day when there will be a wire hanger sitting on a stool drinking and chatting, and there will be a whole audience of wire hangers. And men will be in cupboards holding up clothes. I do beg of you, please do heed this message. I ask you tonight, when you go home, don't just laugh about the wire hangers. Go and look in your own cupboards. And if there is a wire hanger, take it out. Take it out into the back garden and smash it with a sledgehammer. Burn it. Bury it. But do not leave it, because the world is in danger. We are told that we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Don't ever believe that.
feel this is your life.
Tonight, thank you. May your God go with you.